Hello everybody, I am Empty Wisdom. Today we're going through the VR. I'm going to explain what all of these Pokemon do. It's going to be a doozy, so stay with me. First up is Mienfoo. Mienfoo is the top dog of the tier, the most important Pokemon. It should be on every team. Well, almost every team. But if you're beginning, it should be on every single team you make. The other 5 can be whatever. As long as you have a Mienfoo, you have at least one good Pokemon. What does it do? It pivots extremely well. It has access to priority, knockoff, U-turn, a strong stab, and high jump kick. It's one of the greatest Pokemon of all time. It also gets access to Swords Dance, and it runs that frequently. There's a Scarf set running around too. With Reckless and Regenerator, it has 2 great abilities. It's not much more to say, it's one of the greatest ever. Next up is Vullaby. Vullaby also pivots with knockoff and U-turn. It also has a strong stab and Brave Bird, but it has a Nasty Plot set as well. Vullaby can run Mix, and with Heat Wave coverage to cover Steel types like Tinkatink. Foongus. Foongus is a Spore Bot. It basically just wants to come in and spore a Pokemon. Sleep is extremely strong in the tier. Any lost turns mean like extreme progress. Every turn is very crucial in Little Cup. It's a high stakes environment, so Sleep is very strong. Mudbray is a bulky Pokemon. It can trade with almost anything in the tier. It gets access to Stealth Rock, and it's the best rock setter because it can live any hit and set up rocks. It also has a Rest Talk set, which is decent, but not as good as the Stealth Rock set. Mareanie and Foongus have access to Regenerator. Their fighting resist. Fighting resist is important because Mienfoo is on almost every team. But Mareanie is different because it has physical water bulk, which helps against Sandshrew, Alola, and the dog here. Gothita is a trapper. It traps Mienfoo, it traps the poison types, and it can trap Mudbray too. It's pretty good. Tinkatink is the premier Vullaby resist in the tier. It has access to Stealth Rock and Encore, which stop Vullaby from setting up with Nasty Plot. It has the ability Pickpocket, which if you're unfamiliar with the tier, Knockoff is a very common move because the Eviolite is a strong item. Eviolite increases the bulk of your Pokemon significantly, and Knockoff removes it. And that's the easiest way to make progress. So Pickpocket is a way to have item removal without investing a move slot. Really quite good. Sandshrew Alola is a spinner, the best hazard removal in the game, and it also gets Swords Dance. Its coverage of Ice and Earthquake hit almost everything in the tier super effectively, and its Ice Stab can handle things like Gothita, can handle things like Mienfoo. It's very good. Next up is Diglett Alola. Diglett Alola is a very fast Pokemon. At 19 speed, it's one of the fastest in the tier, only outsped by Elekid here. Diglett Alola uses Life Orb and a very strong Earthquake, Iron Head, Rock Blast, Sucker Punch combo, which again hits almost everything in the tier, bar Mudbray and bar Foongus. Very strong. Stunky is an item removal, a Pokemon that uses item removal with Stab, Knockoff, and Sucker Punch. It can check most offensive threats in the game. Stunky is also known for Substitute, Taunt, and Safety Goggles to shut down Foongus. Elekid is the fastest Pokemon in the tier at 20 speed. It has excellent Gen 1 coverage, or Gen 2 coverage, with all the elemental punches and psychic and cross chop and like everything it wants. It has knockoff and 2 great abilities with static and vital spirit. Elekid is another sure contender for a team slot. Limit is a hazard Pokemon and a Volibee resist. It has Stealth Rock Spikes, a great ability, and I forget what it's called. Let's look it up. Toxic Debris is what it is. Toxic Debris. Excellent. Toxic Debris, if it's hit by a physical attack, Toxic Spikes are set on the opposing side, so it's all-in-one hazard Pokemon. Chinchou is a premier water pivot in the tier. It's one of the electric types. It's really hard to switch into because it has access to Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, and electric moves. Usually you would switch in a grass type or a water type, and you can't do that with Chinchou. So it gets its value from coming in on a Pokemon and threatening neutral coverage on almost anything. Growlithe Hisui is mainly known as a Scarf Pokemon with Rock Head and access to Head Smash and Flare Blitz, one of the strongest Scarfers in the game. Trapinch is another trapper with Arena Trap. Traps the Volibee resist and Kinkatink and Limit. Also has Priority First Impression, which is good for revenge killing and removing Pokemon like Gothita and Toadscool. Toadscool, up next, is a Rapid Spinner. It gets access to Knockoff and plenty of good coverage moves to hit most of the tier as well. Gets access to D-Gleam, importantly, and Spikes. Larvesta is a Fight Resist, an alternative Fight Resist that uses Flame Body to proc burns onto Mienfoo or anything that U-turns, and it has one crucial weakness in Stealth Rocks. So it's usually paired with removal like Toadscool, Sandshrew Alola, or Defog Volibee. Coughing is another Fight Resist. Coughing has Neutralizing Gas, which stops the Regenerator from Mienfoo, Foongus, and Mareanie. If a Pokemon switches out while Neutralizing Gas is on the field, it does not get Regenerator. Grookey has excellent priority and grassy glide, and it has access to knock off and U-turn, and strong stab and wood hammer. 17 speed mon. 17 is the benchmark for what is considered fast. Grookey is a 17 speed mon, and as such, it has a good place with strong wood hammers in the tier. Wood hammer threatens the ground types and sets grassy terrain, which lowers the power of Earthquake, making it a good utility Pokemon alongside its offensive capabilities. Zorua Hisui is a ghost type. It's the best spin blocker in the tier, and it has the illusion ability. It's also very strong. It's a 17 speed mon with access to Nasty Plot and a monstrous special attack stat. It has access to knock off and U-turn as well. Wingull is a gambler's Pokemon. Uses Stab Hurricane, coming off 19 speed, 15 special attack with Life Orb to Oko Mienfoo, Foongus, and it basically 2-hit KOs every Pokemon in the tier if you get the play right, except for Chinchou. It also has access to knock off and U-turn, although it doesn't run them usually. Meowth is a priority mon, has Fake Out and Faint. It's really good at chipping down things and forcing Terra into Terra Ghost. Also has access to knock off and U-turn. Numel is a strong fire type, but its best set is Stockpile Body Press with the simple ability. Numel can get Stockpile Boost up to +6, and it becomes unkillable. With Body Press and Rest and Flame Charge, it's quite a monster. It's a HO mon. Gimmighoul does two things. It runs Nasty Plot Life Orb with Ghost and Rock coverage, which hits everything neutrally or super effectively in the tier, except for something I don't remember. Except for Sandile, I guess, but that's not on this. It's really good. And the other set of runs is Dual Screens. It gets screens, and it's very fast at 18 speed, so it's able to set up screens effectively and still have utility as a fast mon outside of that. Shellos is primarily a rock setter. It gets access to Recover, and it has physical water bulk, which walls Dog and Sandshrew Alola. It also has a Curse Amnesia set, which sets up in the same vein as Numel, except less effective. Chespin is a spiker, has access to spikes, and the ability Bulletproof. It walls Foongus completely. So it has a strong niche in the tier as a ground resist and a Foongus resist, and it's good when your opponent is strong into ground types, or when your opponent uses ground types. And Scout, that's about it. Drifloon is the jack of all trades. It can run defensive sets, it can run offense, plethora of items, has access to Will-O-Wisp, Destiny Bond, Memento, Tailwind. It's very good. It's very versatile. It's hard to know which Drifloon you're facing until it actually does something. Impidimp is a pain in the ass, really. It has prankster screens. It's the best screens that are in the tier. Yep, it's a staple on HO. Not much else to say. Snubbull is a fight resist with Intimidate. It comes in on Mienfoo quite often. With Stab Fairy, it threatens it out. And it has excellent coverage, excellent Gen 2 coverage with all the elemental punches, access to Thief, Thunder Wave. It's a great utility mon. One big issue with this Pokemon is that it is weak to hazards. Comes in on hazards and does not have Regenerator, so it cannot recover any of the HP that it loses. It gets worn down over longer games trying to check Mienfoo. Timber is the other fighting type that you would usually see. Has access to Bulk Up, Knock Off, Drain Punch, Guts, and it sets up and uses Mach Punch as a cleaner in the late game. It's usually paired with Mienfoo as a fight spam archetype, but it can be used on its own. Has access to the elemental punches, and being Thunder Punch and Ice Punch, and that hits Foongus or Mareanie. You usually see one of the two, but not both. So it hits Foongus or Mareanie. And Vullaby, with both of those. Salandit is a fast Pokemon at 18 speed. It runs Life Orb with Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, and Terra Blast Ground to hit the poison types, namely Gloomet and Mareanie. Has an Overheat Eject Pack set to pair with Gothita to hit like an incoming Mareanie, and then switch out into a Trapper and remove it from the game. Weasel is a very fast Pokemon at 19 speed. It has Swift Swim, so it's used on rain, but it can be used outside of rain with strong Wave Crash and Flip Turn. It's a good pivot Pokemon. Axew uses Dragon Dance and Outrage. Not much else to say. It's exactly what it says on the tin. It's pretty good. Finizen uses Life Orb. Life Orb Boom Burst with Terra Normal to hit most Pokemon for very, very strong damage. It's good on spikes. Slowpoke is a physically bulky water type. It has access to Thunder Wave and a lot of good coverage moves in Fire Blast, Ice Beam, Earthquake, Surf, Psychic. Its biggest issue is that it's weak to knockoff, which is very present in the tier. Doduo is a 18 speed Pokemon with high attack at 18. It runs Brave Bird with Sky Plate to hit and 2-hit KO even Mudbray. It's hard to switch into this Pokemon, especially when it runs Terra Ground to hit the Steel types. Nimble uses Life Orb Tinted Lens with Terra Bug to deal massive damage to everything in the tier except for ×4 resists. It's one of the scariest Pokemon in one setup, right? Has a first impression, I should say. Poniard can set up rocks, has access to T-Wave, lost access to Knockoff. Unfortunately, that was a staple of Poniard in previous generation, but Poniard can still do some things without it, has Sucker Punch. The most common set you will see is Swords Dance, because it has a monstrous attack stat. Crabrawler is a setup sweeper with Bulk Up and Drain Punch. The third fighting type you might see has access to the elemental punches and the ability Iron Fist. At 17 speed, it becomes a wall that tears through teams. Squirtle is a Shell Smash mon, gets to +2 speed and +2 special attack, and uses Hydro Pump to neutrally hit Mienfoo and Volibee, and it does a lot of damage, especially at +2. Bramblin is a interesting mon. It's a spin blocker with spin and spikes, and so it can come in on Toadschool and set up hazards and threaten it out with strong power whip. Bramblin also has access to Poltergeist and Shadow Sneak, has access to Strength Set. It sticks around for a while despite how frail it is. Minccino is a setup sweeper. It's also a hazard removal with a Tidy Up. It has Technician and Skill Link. Skill Link is very strong in Little Cup because multi-hit moves deal more damage than, say for instance, Tail Slap on Minccino does more damage than Double Edge. And so with Skill Link, to get the 5 hits, it would do more damage than Double Edge. It's very strong. Very good Pokemon. Snover is the Hail Setter, our first weather of the tier. Snover has access to Blizzard and Leaf Storm and Ice Shard, and it has good utility in that sense. It hits the ground type super effectively, it hits Foongus super effectively, it's a Spore immune Pokemon. Not much else to say. Quaxly is a spinner with the capacity to sweep with Moxie. It's an offensive spinner, which the other spinners are usually defensive, outside of Sandshrew Alola. Shroodle, up next, is a wild utility mon. It's really fun to play with, to be honest, as a team builder, because it has access to Prankster and Encore and Copycat, and it can do a lot of things. It's a pain in the ass mon similar to Impidimp. Granados is the strongest Pokemon in the tier, monstrous 125 base attack. This translates to roughly 22 to 24 attack when fully invested. Runs Choice Scarf with 16 speed to hit the 24 benchmark, which outspeeds all Pokemon natively and most of the slow Scarfers. Citadel runs several things. Runs Life Orb, Knockoff, Play Rough, Ice Shard, and it also runs Belly Drum. Belly Drum Ice Shard can clean teams up in a jiffy. Choodle is the Shell Smash Mon with Strong Jaw, has boosted Ice Fang and Crunch, which do good damage. It's kind of one-dimensional. Cottony is it's a ground resist that also resists fighting, so it's very good at switching into Mudbray if it's not carrying Heavy Slam. Cottony uses Prankster Encore, Prankster Memento, and gets one other thing. Let me think. It's Switcheroo. So it's an annoyer, basically. Greavard is a physical wall with Fluffy. If you don't know Fluffy, let's look it up. Greavard Fluffy takes half damage from contact moves. This is good because Knockoff is a contact move, so Greavard gets to be neutral to Knockoff, which is the most common move in the game. It runs Weakness Policy because of this to boost it to +2, and uses Poltergeist, Play Rough, Shadow Sneak, Stomping Tantrum, Ice Fang to hit most of the tier for super effective damage or strong neutral damage. Deerling is a flinch Pokemon. It uses T-Wave and Headbutt to flinch a Pokemon down, a la Jirachi, a la Togekiss. It's 18 speed, so very fast. Well, not very fast, but faster than most. What you got for a well-played Deerling, man? Jupiter uses Water Bubble to boost its stab water and does massive damage. At 13 speed, it runs Scarf most of the time, and that only hits 19, so it's outsped by Elekid and ties with the other 19 speeds like Wingull and Meowth. But it's pretty good. Primer Alola is a Fungus Switcher and a Dark Resist. Its biggest claim to fame is access to Knockoff and Gunk Shot. It does a lot of damage and tears through teams by removing items set up for its teammates to win the game. Drillbur is a spinner. It works in sand, mostly, but it can be used outside of sand. It has 17 speed. With Swords Dance and access to Stealth Rock, this Pokemon can do a lot of things, and not to be trifled with. Horsey is a Rain Sweeper with Life Orb Weather Ball. Clears most Pokemon, including Mienfoo and Volibee, which have excellent bulk. Horsey can one-hit KO them in the rain. Corphish sets up, gets Dragon Dance and Swords Dance. With Aqua Jet and adaptability, it does massive damage. Kind of one-dimensional. Munchlax is a special wall. It has access to Curse, but mostly you see Rest Talk with Body Slam and Earthquake. Not much else to say. Sandshrew is kind of like Drillbur in that it's a sand sweeper with rapid spin and knockoff. Well, no, Drillbur does not have access to knockoff, but Sandshrew does. That's what makes it distinct. It's significantly worse because it's weaker and it's frailer on the special side, which is usually what it's taking from grass and water moves. And it's also much slower. It's 13 speed with an adamant nature. Psyduck is a rain sweeper, uses Nasty Plot and water ice psychic coverage to hit most of the tier for neutral or super effective damage. Houndour is a mixed attacker that runs Fire Blast, Dark Pulse, Sucker Punch, and then your pick of Destiny Bond, Trailblaze, or Will-O-Wisp. It's quite strong but frail, and its frailty really holds it back. It's a 17 speed mon. That's about it. Jangmo is a fungus counter with Bulletproof or Overcoat. You can pick one to wall either Sludge Bomb or Spore, and use Terra or Substitute to cover the other one. Moving on to D tier. Ekans is a offensive fighting resist. It has access to Glare and Knockoff and Intimidate. So it's a short-term fighting resist. Tentacool is a water-type fighting resist that spins, has access to Knockoff and Flip Turn. Oddish is a interesting Pokemon. It's used on Sun, and it also has Strength Sap and Synthesis, which make it a very Pokemon that lives for a long time. It's special because it can beat Fungus in the 1v1. Hippopotas is our other weather setter. I forgot to mention, Shroodle sets weather, and it does it really well with Damp Rock and Sunny Day. Heat Rock is banned, by the way, but Damp Rock is legal, so is Icy and Smooth Rock. Hippo is the Sand Setter. Gets Stealth Rock and Slack Off, so it's quite bulky, so it's sticking around for a while if played right. Poliwag has two sets, either a Belly Drum set or a Life Orb special attacking set. Has access to Hypnosis at 19 speed, is one of the fastest in the tier. Gible uses Sword Stance plus Scale Shot to boost its attack and speed respectively, and with Dragon ground coverage, excellent Garchomp coverage. I wish it had spikes, man. Bagon uses Dragon Dance with Sheer Force. It uses Dragon Rush or Outrage to deal massive damage. Riolu has Prankster, and it's the other weather setter besides Shroodle. It's considerably worse because it's well, I'm not too sure. Let me think. It's considerably worse because it doesn't have any pivoting moves. So it has to sack itself, or you have to risk damaging a Pokemon that's coming in order to make use of the weather. Bulbasaur is a Sun Abuser and has access to Knockoff and Sleep Powder. Pretty good. Meowth Alola is another annoying mon. With Fake Out Parting Shot, you can set up for your teammates to set up. You can allow your teammates to set up and sweep by reducing attacks, the attack stat of the opposing Pokemon. Magnemite can technically trap, but it's usually a Choice Scarf set with Volt Switch. Bellsprout is a Sun Abuser. It's there's not much else to it, really. It gets in the sun and uses Solar Beam, Sludge Bomb, Knockoff. Yeah. Charmander, same thing, Sun Abuser, Scarf with Overheat, Weather Ball, Fire Blast. Meowth Galar is a Volibee Resist that pivots and sets rocks. Wattrel is so close to being a good Pokemon. It really can. Well, why is that? It has access to pivoting moves and has the same special attack as Wingull, but only 17 speed instead of 19 speed. So Wattrel is a little too slow. It's a speed tie magnet, is what we call it. And it's frail as well. You have to either invest in bulk or attack. And it's generally not worth running. Pineco is a Hazardmon. It has Stealth Rock and Spikes, access to Sturdy, sets up. Rhyhorn is a Hyper Offense Mon. It uses Agility and Swords Dance or Weakness Policy to boost its stats with its bulk. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It uses Swords Dance and Weakness Policy to leverage its bulk to set up for a sweep. Turskit is a Rain Abuser. It's the worst one, so I put it down here in D tier. Turtwig is a Shell Smash Mon. Runs Loaded Dice Bullet Seed and Substitute, sub down to Overgrow range, and Loaded Dice Bullet Seed does massive damage. Treecko is a Grassy Terrain Mon. With Unburdened Grassy Seed, it boosts its speed. It has access to Swords Dance. With Acro, Drain Punch, Seed Bomb, Treecko does massive damage. Fuecoco is an unaware Pokemon, and that's about it. Azurill, not good. It has Belly Drum, huge power, and it's just too slow, too frail, doesn't get it off. It's a noob trap, is what it is. Blitzel, same thing. Its strongest move is Supercell Slam, which deals damage if it misses or hits into an immunity. It's an electric type move, and ground types are very common in the tier, so it's not very good, man. Bronzor is a steel type that is immune to ground, and so it has a niche, but I can't quite figure it out yet, so I'm putting it in unranked. Capsicid, I don't even know why this is on here. It's a Sun Abuser, I guess, but it's not very good at it. Gimmighoul, similarly, I don't know why this is on here. It's bulky, and it has access to Nasty Plot, but it's not good at getting that off. And because it's so slow, it's one of the slowest Pokemon in the tier. Golett is a Spin Blocker. It's Stealth Rock and has No Guard Dynamic Punch. It's one of those things that looks cool until you run it and it's like, it's not doing enough damage, it's frail, it's just not a good Pokemon. Joltik used to be good back when Voltorb Hisui was in the meta, but it fell off, and it's a special attacker, 17 speed, but it's just not that good. Grimer Kanto is a fight resist, but it doesn't do much. You can rest talk for recovery, and it's just slow. Has sticky hold, which makes it immune to knockoff, so there's some use for it, but it's just not that good. And Slugma is a Stealth Rock HO-mon with weak armor or flame body. It sets up for its teammates like that, but again, it's just not very good. Well, you made it to the end, so I'm proud of you. Would you like to see anything else next? Leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Thank you very much. Goodbye.